Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our tips for staying grounded. This is our last show till the fall, so if you need a little bit of help so you can be confident and grounded, this next few minutes is for you. I'm Miss Chrissy D with the PNK Files, helping you when life happens, and this is Darlene Turner with VictimToVictory, and together we're thePerspective.
Good morning, everyone. So yeah, as Miss Chrissy D was saying, we've been talking about confidence, and the beginning shows we talked about how do you get it, how do you lose it, did you ever have it? And then we went into the benefits of it and how we can show up in life in a bigger and better way and really feel that on purpose and fulfillment when we are confident and really listening to that voice inside of us that continually gets us to move forward in life. This week, we wanted to make it all about tips and to really step you into that confidence. So the first one is kind of just about being independent.
Yeah, and that's where I get my confidence from. I've really become aware of that lately, is where do I get my confidence from? People always look at me and they think I'm so strong and confident, and I was never feeling that inside myself. And then I realized everything that I do for other people. And it's kind of been a pattern in my life. I give and do, and I build for everybody else. And then they go away with what's been built, and I'm stuck here. And I realized I'm not doing any of it for me. So now I've been put in a position where, as the universe keeps hitting us over the head, I've got the message that I'm important and I need to do it for me this time. And I really notice as I'm building my life for me and doing what I want, and I'm taking care of myself and I'm independent, I'm really grounded in my confidence for the first time. And it feels really good.
Yeah, and for me on the independence part is that I've always tried to fit into other people's world, other people's groups, and really not feeling confident in that, just it's almost like putting a mask on to fit in or whatever that is, or to keep everybody happy, the flow going and peace. But really, as I've matured into the truth of who I am and feel strong within my personal being, I realize I am more in the leader. So I don't need to fit in, try and belong, or any of those things. I can step into my own personal confidence as a leader and show up in that way, what I'm good at, what makes me feel good, and where is my gifts. And as I step more into that, people are attracted to me, into whatever that is, to as an example of what's possible and what we can do in life.
Yeah. And the next one, of course, we all know that saying, if you want to feed somebody for a day, give them a fish. If you want to feed them for life, teach them how to fish. So I've noticed with my past and with my work that I do, When we do everything for other people, we're not helping them build confidence. Not only are we not keeping that energy for ourselves and working on our own confidence, we're actually stopping them from having confidence. So we want to help people. We want to teach them, but we want them to do the work so that they can sit back and go, look what I did. I feel good about this. I did this. And that helps their confidence.
And the word that's really coming to me is empowerment, is to empower people that, oh, instead of that attitude, oh, here, let me just do this. I can do it quicker and better. I know a lot of times as women in the kitchen, we're just like, oh, you're not just doing it right, or I could do it better, or it needs to be done this way. And so then the person just doesn't tend to step into that to help out. But you know what? When we actually empower them to, you can do this, and sometimes it may not be exactly the way we do it, but it's sort of their own way. And as long as if it gets done, it helps to build their own confidence. And I think that's really important to help people feel empowered that they can do it and do it in their own way. Like we said with the first one, it's independence, right? So being able to not be stuck in a way that things need to be done, and embrace the differences and the uniqueness of each one.
You know what? I want to tell a really quick story here as I was listening to you. When my daughter was really little, she said to me, and we had this big pile of sawdust in the garage, and she said to me, she started sweeping it up and putting it in baggies. She said, I'm going to sell it as dream dust. And every part of me wanted to say, well, you know, as a mom, well, no, nobody's going to buy your sawdust. You can't put it as dream dust. But if you want to set up a little table, here's what you can do. They might buy lemonade. Or I really wanted to. And for whatever reason, I didn't say anything. She set up her little table and she set up a sign. And this was, I'm going to say, maybe 20 years ago. So, and she was selling these little baggies of just sawdust from my garage floor. And she was selling them. She put a price tag of $5 on it. And again, I wanted to say, sweetie, nobody's going to buy a little tiny bag of sawdust for $5. Anyway, I let her do it. I'll be damned if she didn't sell every single bag. People would walk by. They thought it was so cute. They gave her the full $5. And because we lived on a walkway, an older lady came by a couple of years later, and she said, do you know, I still have that bag of dream dust. She goes, I had just lost my husband and I was feeling really down. And your daughter just put a smile on my face. So she's left that little bag of sawdust on her table for all these years. And every morning when she gets up, she sees that bag of sawdust and she smiles.
I love that. That is awesome. Who knows what's going to work, right?
Yes. Who knows? Okay. So the next thing I guess for us to talk about is don't bite off more than you can chew. You don't want to take more than you can handle, because then maybe the picture is just too big. You don't know how to do it. You might not be able to see a vision as big as it's going to be, and it might scare you. You have a perfect story like what Oprah says, right?
Yeah, well, one time Oprah shared her story of when she was a young girl, and I know she was raised really poor and had a lot of hardships, that if she was shown exactly where she would go in life with having her own TV show and now channel and all of that and so many followers, she would have just no way and quit. So I think there's a reason we're not showing the full picture, because a lot of times that'll be like, no way, and it just keeps us stuck. So for myself, the same thing is kind of unfolding here. I don't know exactly where everything is going in my life, but I know exactly what I need to do right now. And I have several steps that I need to do it. And as I do it, I start gaining confidence. I start gaining clarity. Oh, this is what the picture starts looking like as I do those steps and it starts coming together. So it's so true. Don't, get to that point where it's like, oh, this is too much and I'm in overwhelm, and you just don't do it at all. If you really want to kind of tap into the conclusion, or life's a journey, so we never really get it done, but kind of a big goal of where you're going, is to really bring in the feeling. What do you want to feel like when this is accomplished? And I want to feel that purpose, that joy of looking back and saying, wow, look what we created together. Look, and so whatever that is for you, maybe it's joy, maybe it's fulfillment, maybe it's whatever, confidence. And bring in the feeling of what it is rather than the details, because the details will keep us stuck and we don't know how it'll happen. So we just don't even begin.
I think worrying about details stops us. And I've always said this. People are like, well, how are you going to pull that off? You can't do that. And I always have said, well, that's just a detail. I'll figure it out when I get there. In the meantime, if I'd have let all of that stuff stop me, we wouldn't have a national sex offender registry right now, because I had every single politician but one telling me that we couldn't do it. It's impossible. It's against the law. It's against the Charter of Rights. It's blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I just started one step at a time, and I figured, okay, I'll get to those details and I'll go through them at the time. Yeah. So just remember, just a detail.
Yeah.
Not a barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing we want to suggest is pick something pick a project, something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, that you know is going to give you confidence and self-esteem. You're going to feel good about it, and start it. And it doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something that, maybe it's a garden. Maybe it's just something as simple as, okay, today I'm going to dig this up and turn the dirt over and put my stakes and string down. And then you walk away at the end of the day and you feel good about it. And you feel, okay, I did it. Instead of having to think about this great big garden that you've got to put in. Just one day at a time, just take off 2 little bits and keep moving forward. And the more you move forward, the more confident you're going to be.
I totally agree. I actually did this at one point in my life where it was just grass and old dirt, and actually dug it all up, built the fence and got the dirt in and created the garden. And it was so rewarding to actually eat my own food that I grew and got to show everybody, look what I created. So it could be a garden. It could be just your garage that you haven't got into and cleaned for a long time. That's like, oh my God, I can't take on that project. It's just too much. But just pick one corner and start there and start organizing. So whatever that is for you, do those first steps and create a plan if you can to what is it going to look like. Get some knowledge around it. Like with the gardening, you may not know anything about it, so learn about it and take those first steps so that you can complete a project and then be able to stand at the end and look back and look where I've come from and the work that you created to put into it to get to the end, and celebrate that.
Yeah. And like I always talk about with my P&K files, make a file. I think we do things and life is so busy right now that we forget what we've done. Make a file or write it down in a book so that when you're not feeling confident and feeling up, and you don't think you've done anything, sometimes I go, oh, my life is a waste. I haven't done anything. I need to get it together. And then I can sit back and look at the things that I've accomplished and went, wait a sec. I don't have to be doing this all the time. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. This is what I've done. It makes you appreciate what you have done in life. And that alone gives you confidence.
A little tip here, and it's accepting where you're at sometimes is very valuable, because when we think we should be somewhere else or get somewhere else, and that it creates this disharmony inside. So sometimes if we can just say, okay, you know what, I'm right here, and that's okay. I don't need to project or be somewhere else. Although we are asking you to continually look forward, but sometimes that creates a disharmony within yourself. So I just want to bring that in, is to love and accept yourself right where you're at right now, so that it doesn't create that feeling of I'm not enough or I'm lacking or I just can't do that. Love yourself right where you're at. And remember, life's a journey. So it's a venture, and you know what? We're going to to stumble, we're going to succeed, we're going to, but learn from all of it and take it all in, because that's what life's about. It's not going to always be easy. There's going to be obstacles. We're going to have to face our fears. We're going to have to struggle sometimes. But that's what it's about, and gaining all that gold, that richness of life, so that you can really embrace it all and not feel like you've failed in any way.
And remember what you're listening to. Remember, think about it. If you're beating yourself up and you're not feeling confident, is that my old file? And if it is your old file, what Darlene and I talk about all the time, then you need to focus on it, get rid of it, and bring in a new file that's looking at your accomplishments that are making you feel confident about who you are and what you're doing. And on that note, we want to let everybody know that we're off for the rest of the summer. We will be back the weekend after the long weekend. We hope everybody has a nice, safe rest of their summer. And we will see you all then. Come and join us on Sundays for the new perspective on trauma, abuse, chronic pain, and the steps to a healthy and thriving life.
I'm going to share every Sunday a show. So if you're missing us, you can still tune in and you'll see a show there. And it'll be one of the ones maybe you've missed. So know that we're still kind of out there, but we're not going to be live. And I wish you all the best of summers, and see ya in the fall.